minerals, or he possibly may be going for the high ground here, but no, he is going to go for the yellow minerals. But as you can see, there is one set of destructible rocks. If you're not familiar with this expansion on this map, there is a high ground expansion down here in the lower right, and that is blocked by a set of destructible rocks. So if those rocks are not destroyed, a lot of times people just assume that their opponent has not expanded up there, which as Terran, it's easy to get a command center up there because you can just lift it off and fly it that way. But it looks like gearv0sh is going to move out with the infantry that he does have, although that does not seem like it's going to be nearly enough to deal with this very large Protoss force unless he uses EMP exceedingly well. But even so, I don't think that that's going to be enough, and it looks like he is going to try to back off, getting off one decent EMP, taking down the shields for looks like 1 or 2 stalkers and a lot. He says WTF is that? Apparently he's not very familiar with the EMP, but he did not notice that it took down his shields, I guess. Oh, and some great sentry force fields going down, blocking both of these ghosts up in front of these force fields, although it looks like one of them, oh, I'm sorry, that was actually a Marine. It looked like a ghost with that light from the medevac overhead, and he's going to focus fire down this Stargate before it's able to produce its first Void Ray, and gearv0sh actually putting some serious pressure on, although he may be getting a little bit too deep for himself. Some sentries going down, and it looks like these units are going to be surrounded, trying to load everything up into his medevacs, but once again, 2 units getting left behind on the ground. He does manage to get a large chunk of his force away, though. So, unfortunately for DoggPound, he lost the pylon and the Stargate that was producing his Void Ray at his base, but he did manage to hold on to his expansion, so he is going to keep that economic lead that he has, because as we can see, gearv0sh has not yet put any serious amount of miners at his expansion. He has 1 mule over here mining away, but on the income tab, you can see he is about 300 to 400 minerals per minute behind right now, so he is in very serious danger of being heavily out macroed unless he can catch up very quickly here in some sort of way. But it looks like the Protoss player DoggPound is going to move out across the map right now, and he is going to see, once he gets up in here, that there's no expansion at the natural, and he's probably going to get a little bit suspicious, assuming that gearv0sh has expanded somewhere else on the map. So we'll see if he goes exploring, trying to find that expansion. No, he does not. He's instead just going to try to move up in here and take on this Terran army head on. Oh, and a couple of great EMPs going off. You can see taking down so many shields for that Protoss army, and he's just constantly moving this army back, trying to take pot shots at this Protoss army with these Marauders and Marines, and it looks like DoggPound is going to have to back off once again, managing to save 4 of his stalkers and 4 of his sentries, blocking off part of the ramp, and it looks like that Marauder actually cannot get through here, although the Marines can. So unfortunately, gearv0sh is not going to be able to pursue for the time being, but there are some SCVs finally starting to come out at this high yield base. He is going to need to saturate this very quickly in order to catch up to the economic advantage that his enemy has right now. As you can see on the harvesters count here, 42 harvesters for DoggPound right now, and only 24 for gearv0sh. So he definitely needs to play catch up, and it looks like he is going to try to play catch up in the way of taking his opponent's expansion, which he has a decent amount of units right now. If he plays this correctly, he could actually manage to break the front door down, but he is going to have to micro his units very well here, although it looks like DoggPound is going to back off. There are 5 more zealots being warped in, so a lot of zealots coming in for the Protoss player right now, and if he's not careful, he could lose a lot of his units, although no, he is going to come in. Oh, and it looks like he may have been waiting for those Void Rays. A lot of force fields going down behind this Terran army to prevent them from running away and microing against this Terran army, but it looks like they're able to take out the entire ground army anyways, although unfortunately there's nothing to deal with these Void Rays with the exception of one ghost, which is just now getting focus fired down before he is able to take down that Void Ray, which only has 24 hit points left, and the rest of these Marauders are going to go down very quickly to the Void Rays and Zealots. But it looks like the Void Rays are going to stop short at the Protoss player's base, but for some reason, yeah, there we go, gearv0sh wasn't attacking for a little bit there and took a lot of damage on his Marauders where he could have been dealing some damage too against the Protoss player, but he for some reason did not micro his units. And as you can see on the income overlay here, gearv0sh is starting to catch up in the minerals now that he has got his mineral line somewhat saturated over at his high yield base here, although taking a couple SCVs off to produce some refineries to get that additional gas, which as you can see he is significantly behind in gas as well, although he has closed the gap a little bit on his minerals. But going back to the base of gearv0sh, he is still sticking with just infantry and medevacs, and I don't know if that's going to be enough. I really think he needs to get some sort of mech involved, or at least on the very bare minimum, he needs to produce a lot more anti-air so that he can deal with those void rays, because as we can see, there are 4 on the map now, and the more void rays that pop out, the more and more difficult it becomes to deal with, even if you have a large amount of Marines in your possession. And it looks like DoggPound has actually decided to go for a second expansion, and the probes for DoggPound moving out across the map, going to go around rather than breaking down these destructible rocks so that they can get up here and get ready to mine. But unfortunately for DoggPound, if gearv0sh decides to move up this back door without breaking down these rocks, then he is going to have a very hard time defending it, because these destructible rocks will obviously prevent him from moving his ground army immediately up in there to defend. So we'll see if that comes into play here. But it looks like there are a few Vikings out on the map right now, a couple hoping to help deal with these void rays, although with 4 void rays, it's going to take more than just a few Vikings, actually 5 void rays now. It's going to take more than just a couple of Vikings to deal with those, although it does look like he has more coming out, and he does have a pretty good amount of Marines here, although he is still going to need something to deal with these zealots. And getting an EMP off on those void rays, wow, that was so crucial. A lot of those void rays lost, actually pretty much all of those void rays lost all of their shields, so this Terran army is going to move up here and absolutely decimate the remainder of this Protoss army, it looks like. All of those units going down very quickly, and DoggPound is going to GG. So he is, gearv0sh manages to take this match down, and round 1 is going to go in large part to the SC2 Armory. And DoggPound saying PVT is his worst matchup. But anyways, just to recap on the round 1 action, the win here from gearv0sh means that SC2 Armory won 4 of 5 matches. So SC2 Armory is winning 4-1 right now, and it looks like they are going to move on into round 2 with a 4-1 lead. So all they need to do is knock out Killer Plague, who actually played very well in his matchup. So we'll see if he's able to play as well against the rest of the people on the SC2 Armory team. Anyways, congratulations to SC2 Armory for a great showing in round number 1. I'm going to be casting round number 2 as soon as possible, once I can get these round 1 matches finished uploading. And it looks like one lone DT coming out for DoggPound right now. Apparently not quite done trying to mess with gearv0sh. Actually 2 DTs out right now and getting a third in right now. I don't know if he has a scout or not, but he is going to try to take down this dark obelisk. So apparently DoggPound trying to get some work in, despite the fact that he has already GG'd in this game, which I'm not sure if this is considered bad manners or not once you GG to actually continue to play. But anyways, these DTs just chasing around the Terran infantry. gearv0sh apparently trying to just bide some time until he can get another scan, and there's the scan taking down those 2 DTs, and there's absolutely nothing standing between gearv0sh and taking out the rest of this base right here, despite the fact that there is another base on the right hand side of the map from DoggPound. He is just now starting his tech all over again, because all of this tech is going to be going away very soon here. So there is not going to be anything to prevent gearv0sh from taking out the rest of that base. But anyways, like I said, the game looks to be over, and he did GG there. He is leaving now. So once again, congratulations to the SC2 Army for a great showing in round 1, and everybody that was able to play in this matchup and win their matchups. So we'll see how SC2 Army fares in round 2 as soon as I can get those games up. I promise I will. Thanks for watching, everybody, and GG.